across the sea of character sheets, deep in the forest of D20s lies the mountain of source books.
Welcome to the Mountain of Source Books. We hope you enjoyed your climb. My name is Jeffrey Vincent Dale, and welcome back to our actual play of Monster of the Week. Previously on the podcast, the team had been hired to look into the whereabouts of one Celino Adesi because her mentor had had a dream about her being in some sort of trouble. After investigating her apartment and finding signs of some kind of struggle, they located a note that pointed them towards an auction at an art house. They then went to the art house, and during their search, they discovered a crystal statue. It looked like a local YouTube celebrity named Dinah Harrington. The team attempted to secure an escape out of a back exit in a storage area, but encountered a large crystal mantis. Detective Hawk was able to escape out of the window and onto the roof, but the rest of the team was unable to follow. Dr. Margaret Grace was able to cast an invisibility spell on herself, Frank, and the statue, and they were able to escape. And now to continue their story.
We are in a car driving back to my house.
Probably. I'm guessing whoever is in the back seat has the statue lightly crushing them.
It's fine.
But there is a little bit of stuff that we need to do at the beginning of the session, though. That luck point ability that we were discussing earlier, you remember that this is not the first time that you have heard the name Marcus Iger.
Ooh.
He came up in conversation with a former client of yours named Quincy Francetti.
So he obviously is from the mob.
Yes, he is.
For the record, for those of you in audience land, I am Italian. I actually have family members who were in the mob, so I'm allowed to make that joke.
Okay, so we're all driving in the car when I have this revelation. Marcus Iger. I know that name.
I don't know if this is useful, but the natural lifespan of a praying mantis in the wild is about 10 to 12 months.
Thank you for that. Okay. Frank, go back to my house. I need to look up an old colleague of Marcus Iger, Quincy Francetti.
The roller decks. Doo-doo-doo.
Can I make sure no one's following us?
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Oh yeah. Yeah, do that first.
I'm trying to keep the crystal statue from falling over and propping, so I'm kind of busy.
Yeah.
So in the Scooby-Doo van compartment situation, the statue is definitely Scooby.
Got it. Okay, so does anyone have the ability to determine if we are being followed?
I mean, I'm just looking in the back mirror while driving. Do I need to roll for this, Jeff?
Nah, I'll just say you don't see anybody following you. The only people that knew you were there were the bystanders and the employees, and the employees are a little busy right now.
They also had no idea what we were doing.
This is true.
We did steal a big statue, though.
Yeah, but you are invisible.
And they could have been
yeah.
anyone. The door was open for some reason.
Not the three strange people, yes.
I am very unmemorable.
I am very memorable as Dr. Margaret Grace.
Okay, we drive back to Dr. Margaret Grace's house.
Yes. We are at my house, and I look up Quincy, and I find what?
Should we leave the statue in the car, or should we take it in the house?
No, we're taking it in the house.
I didn't know
Why
if we had
would
to.
we leave it in the car?
If we had to bring it someplace else.
Okay, no, this is a terrible idea. Bring it in the house.
I'm also imagining I'm the only one lifting this and just
Yes,
dragging it
You're
everywhere.
correct. You are the only one lifting that, and I am just supervising and just looking at you with disgust because
And you're like,
you...
don't scratch the wood first.
Yeah. And also, you insinuated that I should be doing any lifting whatsoever. Just, no, that's not what I do. I'm a doctor. I am preparing a hot beverage for everyone.
Ooh, thank you.
Oh,
You
thank
are welcome.
Very nice.
It's the polite thing to do while doing research.
I've been doing it wrong this whole time.
That's been a problem.
That was my problem with my research, not the fact that I'm usually sitting in a pile of blankets and hungover.
Yes.
I don't know if I made this clear. My character is a disaster.
All right, so I will have you roll investigate a mystery.
All of us, or just me?
You're the one that's doing research on Quincy, right?
Oh, that's right. Okay. I got a 5, a 3, and I've got a +2 for shark.
Okay, so you can hold 2. You can ask 2 of the questions on investigate a mystery. A lot of the questions don't seem like they're a great match for the situation, but we'll figure it out.
She asked what sort of creature is
Yeah, I
it?
was
Like,
gonna say,
we
let's
do that
say
as like, what sort of person is he?
Yeah, I'd be willing to interpret it that way.
Yeah, let's do that, and then I guess after you answer that question, then I'll ask my next one.
All right. Yeah, Quincy is definitely involved in the criminal element, presumably assisting with these black market goods, maybe even stealing them for him.
All right, and then can I do where did it go to where is he?
Sure. You remember meeting him at.
Like, adjusting the statue to like make it like fit in with the decor, that it's like in a nice angle to the camera.
Don't scratch my floors.
That is a perfect old lady thing to say. Love it.
They are literally 300 years old.
I like stop and I like start looking at books. But then like one of the romance is like falls out of nowhere.
Excuse me, who gave you permission to touch my things? I walk over very, very quickly and conceal it once more.
All right. When you last worked with Quincy, when he asked for your assistance, you did some research on him beforehand and found out that he owns a warehouse not too far from here. So that is a place that he is likely to be.
And you worked with him, so maybe you'll be friends.
I kind of want to do both. Have somebody meet him and then also investigate his warehouse when nobody's there, if that's possible. I don't know if it actually is possible because if it's mob connections, then,
You know what? I feel like it would also make sense for you to know his home address as well.
Yeah, probably, because he'd have some type of card if I did research for him. All right, I have an address of where he works, and I have his home address. What if we split up? One person goes to the home address, one person goes to the warehouse, and one person stays behind and sees what we can do about investigating how to get this person out of the crystal.
Well, you should definitely go actually meet with him because he would have no reason to meet with either of us.
If you know him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay.
I can check out the warehouse because worst case scenario,
I also feel like, what would I use to investigate to this?
I
guess
suppose
a
that's
plus.
true.
Okay, so
I guess that would be sharp, but that's a +1.
what time is it?
That is a good question.
I believe at this point it's early evening.
Early evening? Okay. So the odds of him being at his warehouse aren't good. So I'm going to contact him and I don't know. I'll contact him and try to convince him to meet at the warehouse. And I will take Frank with me.
Okay.
And then Anne, you go to his house, investigate, and if you get caught, just talk your way out of it.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
All right. So I'm going to call Quincy.
He doesn't pick up right away, but on the last ring he picks up. Yeah, what's up?
This is Dr. Margaret Grace. We spoke a while back about some items you were needing.
I remember.
We weren't able to find one of the items, but we have located recently the very last item on your list. Are you still interested in purchase?
That's great, but now's not a great time. I'm actually leaving the country at the moment.
All right. Well, can I meet you somewhere like your warehouse or your residential address?
It's gonna have to wait. Something big came up.
Something big came up. All right. Well, hopefully I don't find another buyer in the meantime, but I will give you 24 hours to get back with me.
All right, sounds good. I should be somewhere else by then.
All right. Well, hopefully we will be meeting up soon. Sorry to disturb your night. Goodbye.
Okay.
Well, it sounds like he's not at his warehouse or his home address.
Kind of nice.
He is fleeing the country or something. So, Frank, come with me and go to the house and investigate. And I hand Anne the address, and she has a bike, right?
Nope.
I'll take the bus.
Yeah, I'll take the bus.
All right, so we'll do it in separate. So you let us know when we're going to pan from one person to the next, I'm assuming, Jeff.
Yeah. Who decided to go where?
All right, Anne is going to the house. Me and Frank are going to the warehouse.
Okay.
And Anne is taking a bus.
All right. We'll start with Anne.
Okay.
All right. So you arrive there. Thankfully, there aren't too many stops in between, so you get there relatively quick. And it doesn't seem like there's anybody at home.
It's good because I was really hopeful. Okay, well, if that's the case, you know what? I am going to pick my way in because that's the best way of handling this.
I'm not sure this really fits any of them. So I guess you just succeed.
Okay, I'm fine with that. Okay, so let's see what is going on in here. First off, make sure to look up because everyone in horror stories fails to do that, and you need to do that.
All right. You see no sign that there's anybody there or anything.
Is there at least stuff here?
Yes.
Okay.
In fact, it looks like pretty much all of his stuff is still here.
Okay. So I am going to, as thoroughly as possible, because you have to be thorough when your character is apparently based off of Columbo for some reason. So I guess that counts as investigate a mystery. So I will roll. That is a 7. So get a clue. Yeah, I only get 1. I guess what is being concealed here? What's something that this person has that would help me?
I mean, they're in a real big hurry. Basically, all they did was grab like a couple pairs of clothes, and then they ran out.
Okay.
So whatever it was something big that spooked them and got them to run.
I guess I'm going to go through this with a fine-tooth comb and see what I can find, and then I will lock the door and then let myself out the window and just close it, because that's an easier way of dealing with that. If I find anything, yeah, we'll see.
All right, yeah. Unfortunately, there's just not a whole lot of
Documentation or anything, nothing like that.
There's not really a whole lot there.
Right, to the bus stop.
All right, and we're gonna switch to the other characters now. But like, where are you planning on going next?
I don't think I know how to get. I will eventually show up on the bus because that's hilarious. But I will say, if somebody, assuming Frank gets a text that says currently waiting on the bus, and I like the idea of Frank saying to hurry, and then I try and wait faster.
Let's go fast.
We see you sending the text, and then the scene shifts with us seeing Frank receiving the text, and now you're at the warehouse.
Okay, so we're looking around at the warehouse.
I'm gonna make sure I have my weapon with me. My super magical fancy weapon.
Okay.
I believe I have all my weapons on me at all times.
Yeah, I forgot how.
What's your weapon? I have a magical longsword.
I have a dagger, a juju bag, and a shotgun.
Okay, that's pretty nice.
Yeah. Okay, so
So the lights are on when you get there. So someone's in.
Oh,
it appears someone is in the warehouse. So let's roll to see if we can find any danger. What is that? Roll for.
oh yeah. Can I also roll?
Read a bad situation, maybe?
Yes, I think so. Like, because there's any dangers we haven't noticed. That sounds
Okay.
good.
All right, so we'll both roll.
I got a 12.
Oh, okay. That's all we need to know.
I got a 5, 6, 7, technically.
All right, so let's see. On a 12 plus, you may ask the keeper any questions you want about the situation, not just the listed ones. But you get 3 questions.
Okay. Are there any dangers we haven't noticed?
I will say there's some motion sensing lights, and you see one of them go off. So you know there's at least one person moving around in there.
Okay.
But other than that, there aren't any other dangers that you haven't noticed.
What do we see around?
Yeah, what?
What's in the warehouse?
I'll say there's a window nearby that you can look in.
Oh, we didn't get inside yet?
Oh, I thought you were doing it from outside.
Oh, I thought we were looking into the.
Well, what's my best way in then?
There's a couple of doors. There's one
But what's the best one?
There's one near you where the room is dark. So presumably there's nobody in there. So that's your lowest chance of getting caught.
Okay.
Do we see any other vehicles here? Like someone else's driven here?
There are 4 vehicles in the parking lot.
Counting mine? Oh, not counting
Yeah, not
mine.
counting yours.
Did he ask 4?
You only get 3 questions.
Yeah. All right. So the questions were, what's our best way in? Are there any dangers we haven't noticed? Are there any cars in the parking lot? And what can we see when we get to the.
When you get inside.
Yeah.
So you're in sort of like the storage part of the warehouse where they have lots of shelves piled really high with stuff. Lots of pallets and stuff wrapped in plastic and in boxes. Not too far away from you, near the door, there is the shadow of a person like looking into the area you're in. But upon closer inspection, you see that they are currently a crystal statue.
Hmm.
Fun.
Well, I suppose we're in the right place.
Does this person, is it a dot? Male, female, non-binary?
Yeah, it's a adult male.
Do they look like they work in a warehouse?
They have a gun in their hand. It seems more likely
So-
that they were keeping an eye out for trouble than that they were necessarily an employee.
Okay, so they don't look like they work here. Is the gun also crystallized?
I would assume yes.
I guess it depends on, though, like, what's happening. Does it only change flesh, or does it change what they're holding?
I think it would have to change what they're holding, otherwise, all the statues would be naked, and that's a problem. But B, they wouldn't be changed immediately. It would be like it's a crystal person with a whole bunch of stuff on them.
Yeah, it would just need to freeze or
Yeah,
crystallize
we'll
everything.
go with that.
Okay, so
Do we hear any other sounds happening? Like, do we still hear footsteps?
Yes, you do hear one set of footsteps.
while we are hidden away, I am going to. Did we determine that invisibility was just the magic, or was that big magic? I don't
Yeah,
remember.
that's just magic.
Just magic? Okay. I guess I will attempt to make us invisible, and hopefully this won't go horribly wrong. Oh, cool. 10 plus weird. What's my weird? +1. Okay, so I got 2 5s plus 1, so that's 11. The magic works without issues. Choose your effects. One thing beyond human limitations. We are invisible.
All right.
So we're just gonna start walking around, looking at stuff, trying to. Frank, why don't you go over to the actual crystal to see if you can inspect anything further, determine what the crystal is. I'm going to look around to see what objects are in the warehouse.
Okay, I will go investigate the crystal.
Okay. Good call on the invisibility because other parts of the warehouse have motion sensing lights and now you won't set them off. So, Frank.
Do you want me to roll?
Yeah, I'm looking through it right now. I guess
It doesn't matter. I
oh,
failed.
okay.
I rolled 2 1s.
I think that's the best part about when you're doing things like maybe just roll ahead of time, and if it fails anyway, just ignore it.
I'm just going over to the statue and I just like accidentally like push it, maybe. I don't know. I feel like there should be some kind of bad thing happening on a complete fail.
Not always, because keeping in mind that failure oftentimes indicates that you're growing and changing, whereas if it's catastrophic failure all the time, it's like, oh, well, okay, that didn't help. Also, you can get negatives in this game, is a thing that can happen.
Yeah, I was going to say, investigate a mystery doesn't have any negatives that
Yeah.
I'm seeing. The other ones do. All right, so I'm also going to do investigate a mystery. So that is plus sharp. So I got an 8.
Okay. So you get to ask one question.
I guess what is being concealed here as I'm walking around looking at shadows and looking through windows?
All right. I'll say you spot the person that's walking around, and it's Selena,
Uh,
the person that Detective Hawk was hired to look into.
I'm assuming every part of me is invisible, so including my phone, so I text Anne guess a picture, or I don't know, I take a picture and send it to Anne, and found your girl is the message.
Yeah, from what I gather from the character, she is definitely a person who would be out of place here. And also, we do know supposedly looking for somebody. I don't actually remember if that was ever part of the goal.
And did we ever determine that you just mentioned that there's stuff everywhere? Is the stuff relevant on the shelves?
Everything that you can see is like boxed up, so you would have to open it.
All right, so I go over to Frank and ask what he's learned about the crystal.
made out of crystal in the shape of a man.
Why did I bring you along? All right.
To be fair, you want to bring Frank to the more dangerous place.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. I guess I will investigate mystery again, and I'll determine what's with the crystal. And then, Frank, why don't you follow Selena?
Okay, I will go follow Selena.
Is there a time limit on the invisibility, by the way? It didn't say there was.
Yeah, I think last time we determined that you had like about a minute of invisibility.
Because I rolled like a 9 or an 8.
I think might have been like DM's discretion of making one.
Okay.
Yeah, I set the time limit for a standard, and then if you wanted it to
Oh,
be
that's
longer,
right,
you would have to
that's
do
right.
big magic. I think
That's
was
where
my
the big
ruling.
magic thing came. Okay. So, well, before I tell Frank to go follow her, do I have to cast the spell again?
I'll say you got like 30 seconds left because you didn't really do a whole lot.
All right. So I let Frank know you have 30 seconds of invisibility. Follow her, but hide.
I will follow her and then try hiding, like in the direction she's going, so I could keep seeing.
And in the meantime, I'm going to investigate a mystery with the crystal. Well, that doesn't matter because I failed. I got a 4.
You saw this,
Man, these crystals are just really
but
stumping
you
you guys.
feel so bad for yelling at me. You're like, hey, this is a crystal in the shape of a person.
On the bright side, I get an experience point, and so do you, Frank.
Yeah.
Okay, so I did that, and now
And then I'll say the time it took you to investigate that, we'll say your invisibility is worn off, and then we'll rewind time and switch to Frank. All right, so Frank, you follow Celino, and she goes to like sort of a break room area, and she starts making a sandwich out of the stuff in the fridge.
Random. How much time do I have left in my invisibility?
We'll say you got like 10 seconds left.
Can
now.
I find something to hide behind? Is there any other exits outside the break room besides the way we walked in?
It's got like 2 doors, and they one of them leads back to where you came from, and one of them leads to like an office area.
Yeah, what's in the room that I could hide behind?
Let's see. There's a few tables in there. There's sort of like a separating wall near the doors, each one, so you could like hide behind the separating wall and sort of peek in.
That I'll hide behind the separating wall.
Okay. The one that you came in by, or the
Yes.
office door? Okay.
I'll do the one we came in by.
All right. So, as your invisibility wears off, Celino goes to take a bite of the sandwich, and a bullet flies into the room and destroys one of the windows. And she dives under a table.
Oh, wow.
our podcast can be found on Spotify, Google Podcast, or our Mountain of Sourcebooks YouTube channel. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at MOSB_2022 and follow our Facebook page, MOSB-Mountain of Sourcebooks, where you can get updates on everything that's happening with us and in the world of gaming.
And with all that said, thank you for joining us, and careful on your way back down the mountain.